Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on the Voice of Many podcast show with your hosts, Yolanda and Vanessa. This afternoon, we have the pleasure of having with us Miss Cassandra Hill. She is a historical wellness coach. And that is a lot. So y'all, yes, I'm not taking this blooper out. It's going to stay in here. Sorry. So she is a wellness coach, life coach, author, speaker, and she's overcome many obstacles in her life, from lupus to miscarriages, but most of all, her mission as a woman, her focus, the renewing of her mind, her body has been her main goal. And so when it comes to healing your soul, being able to take a natural approach to that is so important. And that is what Miss Cassandra is here to do. So without further ado, thank you. Sorry of my errors, Cassandra, but welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, Yolanda. No problem.
So I'm gonna let Vanessa start out for today. So Vanessa, if you will, I'll let you take the floor working with Miss Cassandra here.
Okay. Can you share with us and our listeners a little bit about what led you into the area of holistic healing?
Sure. My journey to holistic healing started as a personal journey. When I was diagnosed with systemic lupus, started out traditional treatment like most people would do. I went to the doctor. Doctors recommended chemo drugs and steroids. I'm sure everyone's out there is familiar with chemo and familiar with the side effects of that. And so I went that route for several months, really wasn't seeing a change in my health, improving. And then on top of that, the side effects were just so much. At that time, I had a career as a gerontologist that came to an end because of those side effects. I really couldn't hold down my career anymore. And so after dealing with that for so long, I thought there has to be something else I can do. And one day I was talking with a lady I'd had never met. And it just goes to show you the power of your thoughts. Because one morning I woke up and I said, I'm tired of being sick. And days later, I met this lady who's a nutritionist, and she was looking for a gerontologist for this project. And so that's what made her reach out to me. And she was like, well, try this food to help with the pain you're having. And I tried that food and it actually worked. And I'm like, if this little change could do something, let me study and learn more. And so I went back to college, started taking courses in health and wellness and alternative medicine and everything. And the more I studied and learned and applied on myself, I'm like, I'll just be the human guinea pig on myself. And before I knew it, I was feeling a whole lot better. I didn't realize I was in remission though until I went back to the doctor and was about to do another round of treatment. And I did my blood work prior to the treatment, and everything came back normal.
Wow.
And I was like blown away because I just couldn't believe, that everything was normal, and the doctor was just so surprised because, my lupus had really, when I first started going to him, I was in pretty bad shape. And so he was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm doing something that I'm gonna stick with."
All right. All right. I like that. I like that.
And that was my path into holistic healing.
Wow. Wow. So with that, what have you found to be the best process when it comes to renewing your mind, your body, and your soul?
I think the first thing is learning you, being real comfortable by yourself, spending time with yourself, because we live in a world prior to the pandemic,
Mhm.
we lived in a world where everything was so fast paced.
Yeah.
You could go anywhere at any time, and you really didn't have to spend much time by yourself if you didn't want to.
Right.
However, it's good for us to spend that quiet time with ourselves, because the better you learn yourself inside and out, you'll know what you need, whether it's emotionally, spiritually, you know.
Mhm.
Because really for me, although most people think about eh, wellness with the physical body, and I know a lot of people come to me and they want to know, about what food they should be eating, that sort of thing. And do
Mhm.
we work on that? Yes. But it really starts with being grounded and aligned mentally and spiritually. Because once you get that down, the physical part is so much easier.
Okay. That makes so much sense. So also, can you tell us why is the self-care so important? We talked about the spiritual, in the body, but why is self-care so important?
Women, particularly, and I'm going to say especially Black women, we have this theme of the strong Black woman,
Mhm.
and which I know some people run away from that. I'm the person who, I don't run away from that. I think it's great to be a strong Black woman. However, I think we need to redefine what that means.
Mm.
Being a strong Black woman means that I have a support system in place, that I have people who help with my responsibilities, because I realize that no woman is an island.
Right.
And if you want to achieve great things in this world, you cannot do it on your own.
So
And
true.
so when we think in those regards of being that strong Black woman, in order for me to be full, so I can pour into myself as well as pour into my sisters, I have to take care of myself.
It's
Because
true.
what we're finding, especially in among Black women, we're not taking care of ourselves, and our health is lagging, is suffering big time.
Mhm.
When you think about conditions like hypertension or high blood pressure, right now 42% of Black women are living with high blood pressure, even with conditions like what I was diagnosed with,
Mhm.
lupus. 10 to 20% of Black women who are diagnosed with lupus die.
Yeah.
And that was according to the latest study that was done in 2019. So we're paying the cost of not taking care of ourselves. And
Mhm.
this pandemic has made it that much more worse.
And you also spoke um, about how the foods that we digest into our body that we consume, how it plays a part in our healing. So if we're putting the wrong things in our food, we're just breaking it down, causing the hypertension to escalate, causing the diabetes to just go off the charts. So
Mhm.
thank you for pointing out, we have to pay attention to what we're putting in our bodies, because the
Yes.
damage, the results that it's doing. And a lot of times we feel that we cannot do any better due to finances and as far as what we put into our bodies, but we'll stop and look at it that sometimes it's cheaper to eat the right things than it is not to. Because if we don't, we're going to have higher hospital bills, the medical expense, the prescriptions, all of that's going to increase. The life insurance, itself is going to have to be increased to help take care of us and our families that we leave behind. So thank you for pointing out how important it really is to watch what we put in our bodies and the results of putting the right things into our bodies, how it can lead to healing.
Yes. And Yolanda, you brought up a great point. Many people think that eating healthy is expensive, and that's not really true per se, because when we think about the adult body, the average adult, this doesn't factor in people who you may have type 2 diabetes or whatever chronic condition, but the average adult body needs about 9 to 13 servings of fruits and veggies per day. And when you think about that, even right now, with the way inflation is, meat is more expensive.
Yeah.
Always has been, because you can literally get your fruits and veggies, and that should, I wish I had brought in my plate, but your plate, just a little over half your plate should be fruits and veggies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not expensive, because even right now, with food as high as it is, I could go to the store and get a cabbage for 59 cents a pound.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
What you're spending a lot of money on is chicken and pork chops and all that.
Yeah.
That's what's costing some money.
That's true. Very true. Right.
So what is the safest way to remain physically healthy with all the diets on the market and everything else that's going on today?
Yeah, diets don't work. Diets do not work. Now, you're probably thinking, Cassandra, but I did this and this diet and I lost weight. You probably did do, I'll say, for example, the keto diet. You may have did the keto diet and lost weight, but I guarantee you probably put the weight back on and extra, because diets don't address the real problem. What a person needs to do is make lifestyle changes. That's why when a person comes to me, you won't get a diet from Cassandra. Now you will get some real deal results, but diets do not work. So when you think about wanting to get to a healthy weight, I'll use myself for example. I'm an okay size now, but at one time I was a little heavier. All those pregnancies put some weight on me. And so I'm like, okay, how am I gonna get back to the old Cassandra? And I did not do diets. What I did do, I said, okay, I am going to walk. I will walk like maybe 30 minutes a day. Did that. Like, okay, I can cut out soda. That was a lifestyle decision I made, that, okay, this is something I can give up that I don't mind giving up. So you, as I mentioned earlier, get to know yourself and know, okay, for me, okay, I gave up the soda, but I'm a Southern woman. I'm from Arkansas. I like tea. So guess what? Every now and then I'm gonna drink some sweet tea. I don't
Mhm,
want to give that up. But you figure out what works for you,
mhm.
and that's what leads to the results. And then if you need some support around that, you would come to a person like me. But diets don't work. Do not do a diet. If there's someone out there trying to push a diet on you, I wouldn't recommend going that route. Now, if you're talking about making some changes, long-term changes, if you're talking about supplementing your body, that's great, because your body, there's essential vitamins your body needs, like vitamin A, B, C, K, zinc, magnesium, those sort of things. Now, if a person's talking about doing something with that, yes, but don't diet.
That's true. Yes.
Can you, oh, go ahead, Mom. Did you have something?
No, no, go ahead.
Okay.
It's very good, very good, very good.
So could you please share with us a little bit about your book that's on the market?
Sure. I'm so excited. My book, He Restoreth My Soul, Triumph Through Adversity. This book is available anywhere online. It's on Amazon, Barnes Noble, Walmart. If you're listening to this and we're connected on and you're on Facebook or Instagram, you can message me. I have a few in my personal stash that I can autograph for you, and you can get an autographed copy directly from me. But this book, it's my first book, and it means so much to me,
Mhm.
simply because of the process with this book. I really hadn't planned on it becoming a book. I thought it was something just for me,
Mhm.
after I had went through a miscarriage and just wasn't for sure where to pick up the pieces of my life, because it was just a really difficult time for me. At the time, I was living in an area where, I was by myself. I didn't have, family in that area. And it was just a really hard time going through a miscarriage, going through a divorce and everything. And God just showed me that even with this, I'm here.
Yeah.
And so when I first started writing what's now He Restoreth My Soul, Triumph Through Adversity, I would just pick up and read the Bible, and just whatever verse I felt like just hit my heart, I would write that verse down, and write my thoughts about it. And I was doing that for, oh my goodness, I can't even remember how long I did that. And and then after a while I stopped. I was in a good place, and I didn't realize, I guess, in the process of writing, how much I had actually read. And so I put it on a computer, and it sat on a computer, and then, just actually it was 9 years. It hopped from computer to computer.
Wow.
And one day, someone, a publisher, came to me and was like, "Do you want to be an author?" And I was like, "Yes." And it was like, "Have you written anything?" And I was like, "I have written something. I don't know if it's a book." And sure enough, it was. I sent those writings over, and they fell in love with it. But
And now you're up for an award.
yes, up for a Book Excellence Award this year in their spirituality category. I'm just blown away by that. Um, just blown away. I never thought that this book would resonate like that, and for it to be, initially when I wrote, like when it became a book even, um, it was on Amazon, and then later got on Barnes and Noble, and just last year made it to Walmart and they're online, on their website. So I'm just,
It's amazing.
I'm still just blown away that people could get my book in all those places. I just never dreamed that, even like in my dreams, I hadn't dreamed that. So I'm just so thankful to God. And then when I do read the reviews or get people who inbox me and share how it helped them, because really it's a 28-day devotional, and each day just helps you reconnect or strengthen your relationship with God. One thing that makes it a little bit different than most devotionals is after those 28 days, there's a section that's really going to help you self-reflect. I'm real big on self-reflection. So it's some questions there you could kind of use as a workbook, and some questions. And once you answer those questions honestly, I guarantee you're going to walk away knowing some things about yourself that you may not have known before you picked it up.
Amen. That's good. It's an honor. Look forward to doing it and getting your book. Definitely.
If you don't mind, could you give some of our listeners and watchers a few words of encouragement?
Sure. I want to encourage everyone that if you have the capacity to love yourself first. And this is a quote by the late, great Maya Angelou. We admire the beauty of the butterfly, but we rarely admit the changes it undertook to achieve that beauty. So I know right now we live in a world that's media driven, social media or just media at large. And we could look at these people who we see on TV or social media and think, wow, I want to be like that person. But man or woman, you do not, one, you only know what they're showing.
Yes.
And two, you might not understand the changes that they took, that they had to experience. I know I get people who come up to me now and is like, oh, I love your writings, because I blog. On my website, I have a blog as well. I blog normally twice a week. I love your writings. Probably didn't realize my writings, like I said, this first book came from something the average woman does not want to experience in life. So your journey is for you. My journey is for me. God has given us the journey that He wants for us. He directs our steps. Yes. So embrace the journey He has for you, embrace every aspect of it, and know that His plan is always the best plan.
Amen. 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 So how can our listeners get in touch with you and follow you? Because great words of wisdom, great inspiration altogether. It's wonderful, wonderful gifts.
Well, you could follow me on Instagram or Facebook at Live Healthy for Life. Live Healthy for Life. You can follow me on those platforms at Live Healthy for Life. And on either of those two platforms, if you follow me in my bio, you'll see my link to my link tree, and it'll have links if you want to learn more about anything I have going on, whether it's books, my healthy living products, all of that. My link on Instagram and Facebook, Live Healthy for Life.
Thank
Ms. Cassandra, I want to thank you so much for being with us and giving us some of your wisdom.
Well, I thank you so much for the invitation. It's been a pleasure chatting with both you, Vanessa, and Miss Yolanda. It's been a delight. It's been a treat. I know we had to, I think we scheduled once, and I was looking forward to connecting with you ladies. I had a chance to do a little snooping on you ladies, and I love what you ladies are doing. So I wish you continued success.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. And the same to you. Can't wait for more books to come our way.
And for those of you who are watching or listening, please don't forget to follow us on our social media outlets. And please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, as we don't want you to miss out on our special guests or our wonderful topics. And we want to thank you all for tuning in.